On this episode of the Apple Watchers, you can now use your Apple Watch or iPhone to pay and ride public transportation in another major city. Google Maps is back on the Apple Watch. iOS 13.7 is here with new COVID-19 notification system. Apple announces Time Flies event. What do we think will actually be announced at that event? Apple design team developed protective masks for its employees. Did Apple leak details on a subscription bundle of its own? All this, our picks, tips, and much more. This is episode number 34. Welcome to the Apple Watchers, a podcast covering all things Apple Watch and many things Apple. This episode and every episode is brought to you by me, Kevin Hare, and my co-host, Jonathan Zarko, aka Jay-Z. All right, let's get started. Well, hello. How you doing?
Doing good. Trying to stay indoors. Everything going on.
Yeah, we got a lot of fires here out in California. Now it's spread to many other states here in the United States. So,
yeah,
man, it's wild. Never seen anything like it before. Constant gray.
The weather, has been consistent basically for the last 3 days, just gray. Like we're in some weird purgatory void.
With an orange sun.
Yeah.
Very strange stuff.
It's interesting, too, because we're fairly close to the Bobcat fire. We're like about 20 miles as the crow flies. So we are getting like ash and things like that that's kind of ending up on cars and around us. And I had to pull the air conditioner unit out of our window so that it wasn't letting in smoke. It's a little rough.
Oh, man. We've still been using our air conditioners, but I don't know if that's good or bad. So
ours just didn't have a really good seal on the outside. So it had a little crack and I could smell more stuff. So I closed it up. We have a central air system that's a little weak, but we've been using that a little bit. Thankfully, the weird thing is that because we have the smoke cover, it's cooler. So we haven't actually needed it.
Yeah, when I went to work on Wednesday, went out to my truck and I was like, wow, this is nice. It's overcast. Then I saw ash on my truck and then I was driving. I'm like, okay, this is not...
No, it's not overcast.
It's not overcast or hazy. This is not good. And then it's looked the same for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
But anyways, many other states are going through the same thing right now.
Yeah, and worse. So, counting our blessings here.
Anyways, well, why don't we jump right in with some Apple Watch stories, although this one is Apple Watch and iPhone related. So Tap is now on the iPhone and Apple Watch. Metro and riders on 25 other transit systems in Los Angeles can now add Tap cards to their iPhone and Apple Watch. The safer contactless way to pay fares means no more having to go to a station to purchase Tap card and load fares from the Tap vending machine or a vendor. As long as your iPhone and Apple Watch is powered on when entering the turnstile where payment is deducted, you don't even need to wake up your device. Just hold it near the Tap dial and your fare will be deducted. The feature is available on iPhone 8 and later, Apple Watch Series 3 and later with the latest iOS and watchOS. There's also a new Tap app for the iPhone that can be used to transfer existing plastic Tap cards to Apple Wallet, manage your Tap account, and buy passes. And I don't think we really mentioned, but Tap is the kind of system here in Los Angeles, California, that's used on the Metro. So you have to have a Tap card, and that's normally what you would go down into or above ground, wherever, and pay. But now you can just do it on your phone. Now, me and you both tried this, and it's incredibly easy.
Yeah.
When I first saw this story, I'm like, okay, this is going to be like a whole rigmarole to get it set up. And it turns out it was super easy. You literally just open the wallet app on your phone, and then the Tap card already appears. And then you hit another button, and it asks you to add money. And that's it.
Yeah, I think eventually they'll have to put in some kind of geolocation gating, because right now you can do Los Angeles County, and I think I remember seeing like Washington as an option.
Right.
But this is going to be huge, especially in areas where public transit is like really, really widely used, like New York. Could you imagine? Man. And I think TAP stands for like Transit Authority Payments or something like that. Like that's what it was a cute little pun, because it was a contactless, or well, not contactless, but you would actually tap the card on different things and it would like use like an NFC chip or something to deduct the payments. But now you're just able to use your phone. I'm excited for what this means for other applications. The fact that you don't have to wake up your phone, it makes the process of using like digital e-commerce payments so much easier. Imagine doing Apple Pay if you could just, hold your phone up and tap. If it was under a certain threshold or something. There might be some people who get a little nervous around, it's just going to charge things. But maybe even if it's not a e-commerce thing or just like getting into your car, right? If you could just boop, tap that. Or if you have a room key, for a hotel or something on your phone, instead of having to pull up the app and do the whole authorization thing, you just put your phone up next to it. Boom, you're in. I love this. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, this is great. And this is something that I've actually wanted for a long time. Just the ability to pay on your phone, without having to pay near a bus stop or in a subway, because inevitably you're trying to catch a train and then you have to go and pay and you might miss your train. So this way you can actually add fare while you're sitting around at home or on your way to a station or a bus stop. I mean, it's fantastic. Unfortunately, we're riding less. Me and my fiance actually used to ride the metro quite a bit, just hop on it, go downtown, go to Alvera Street, whatever. Now, not so much, but I'm glad they did this. So when life
reopens,
reopens, maybe get back to normal and it's not smoky anymore either. Maybe we can actually get out and, go to a museum or something. So,
yeah. Also, it's fast enough that even if you didn't have funds on there, if you just remembered, like as the train is approaching, you could probably add funds on it before you needed to use it. And not having to wake your device means that as people are going and tapping to get in, there's going to be less friction and less like time wasted as people are trying to pull it up on their phone and authorizing it and then doing a tap or syncing it. So really, really cool.
Yeah, and I wanted to actually test that and actually go through one of the turnstiles. And I apologize to the audience, but it was just not possible right now because we're basically supposed to stay indoors as much as possible. So I didn't even want to walk down to the subway station and try it. But in the future, I'll give it a try because I'm very curious about that, like not even having to wake up your phone or anything. So it's cool.
I'm sure very soon. But anyways, moving on. So Google Maps for Apple Watch now live with the latest update. The app for the Apple Watch mirrors the directions that have already been input on the iPhone and offers turn-by-turn directions along with ETAs so you know when you can expect to arrive to your destination. Multiple travel modes, including navigation with car, public transit, bike, or by foot are available, and there is a Google Maps complication that can be set up. Now, there's no option for setting directions directly on the Apple Watch, but it does provide access to save destinations such as work and home. It appears the app doesn't run natively, and also appears you must download the latest Google Maps update for iPhone in order to download the app on the watch. So this is cool. It's very similar to the map directions with the Apple Watch or the Apple Maps, So as you're navigating around using Google Maps, you don't have to refer to your phone. You can just see them on your watch, but you can't actually just tell your watch that, you need directions to the office or wherever. You have to actually do it on your phone. But that's a cool evolution.
Yeah, it's definitely handy for people that prefer Google Maps over Apple Maps.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, because it doesn't run natively on Apple Watch, if it's like an Apple thing or a Google thing. I would guess maybe Apple, but I don't know.
Yeah, it seems strange. Though I don't know. Like the fact that the Apple Maps one does run natively. Obviously, the hardware can support it. So is it a policy issue? Or maybe it's just that Google Maps hasn't put in the infrastructure for that yet. They haven't actually written the code for it to be on its own deal. So who knows?
Yeah, maybe this will turn into something kind of bigger, and I'm really glad it's back for the fact that they're putting effort into it and bringing it back because it was gone for a while and there was not a lot, but there were some apps that were kind of leaving the Apple Watch. Yeah. And with having apps like this coming back, it's a sign that, the Apple Watch is really turning into something for a lot of people, something valuable to them in their daily life. So this is a good sign, very good. Well, moving on. So we got an update. Apple released iOS 13.7 with support for automatic COVID-19 notification system. The system is an extension of the existing coronavirus contact tracing effort, but it removes the burden of states of having to build a dedicated app. More broadly, the OS-powered contact tracing system is designed to inform someone when they may have been in contact with another person later diagnosed with COVID-19, primarily through a complex BLE, which is a Bluetooth Low Energy Beacon protocol. States can simply provide Apple and Google with the necessary information, and the auto-generated software framework will take care of the rest. Apple and Google made sure to clarify that existing apps, of which there are 6, will continue to work and support the interoperability between states and built into the new framework to allow for contact tracing state lines.
This is cool. I need California to get off their butt and get that information in there so we can actually have this.
Yeah, you know what's weird is I just saw a tweet today from the mayor of Los Angeles stating that there's an app called Citizen and you can do contact tracing through there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which is good. I just don't know how I feel about an app like that kind of doing contact tracing.
Right, versus the Apple created one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to jump into it and I wasn't aware that California wasn't on board, but I learned real quick because it'll tell you as you try to set it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty easy to set up too, just like 5 taps or so, and you're pretty much good to go.
If the Citizen app, though, has it, then maybe that's an indication that it won't be that long of a wait to be able to use the Apple version. So, because I imagine that Citizen app is probably using a similar system. So, the state of California had to have given something for the app to have been enabled. So, interesting.
Let me throw in a quick little story too before we move on. But Apple updates Apple support with wallet passes. So when you make a Genius Bar appointment, you'll see a button to add a pass to your wallet app for faster check-in. Other updates include easier to find advisors in your preferred language in regions with multiple languages, accessibility improvements for voiceover, performance enhancements, and bug fixes. This was actually an interesting update as well. You know, I don't know if people are going into Apple stores a lot.
Well, remember, we had read that article before about them doing the appointment system. So this probably helps expedite that and saves precious, minutes.
Yeah.
Again, people trying to validate that it's time for their appointment. If they just have a thing on their phone and they can hold it up and say like, yeah, look, see, I got an appointment. And, I don't know if they have like a scanner or something to check you in or anything, but some way to verify it. But just having it in your wallet that easily makes this a lot faster.
Yeah. Because on the flip side, when I saw this story, I was like, why didn't they do this like years ago?
Right.
When you think about it, like just something to make it easier, because actually checking in at a Genius Bar was always kind of a little weird.
Yeah.
It
was like checking into a hotel. You had to go up to a bar, you had to give them your name. They'd ask you to wait to the side.
Yeah. And actually, even when they got rid of the bar, you just had to find someone and
that was also weird.
Check you in.
Like,
yeah.
Excuse me, I have an appointment. I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is better.
I'm also glad that they're adding more things to wallet. I would really love to be able to eventually one day not have a wallet, like a physical wallet, or just have it like I've already streamlined it down, I should say, rather. Strim is not a word. I've combined trim and streamline and strim.
All right.
I have.
Yeah. When you listen to our show, you get new words.
Yeah.
We invent new words.
Strim. So I've trimmed my wallet down to a really slim form factor. I used to just use like a money clip, but now because I got my Apple card, I got a new leather piece, but it can only hold like, I think 6 cards and some cash. So I don't like having a big bulky thing. If I could get that to be just like an ID and like an extra card just in case, and everything else is in a digital wallet, I am all for it.
Yeah, it also helps with, when you forget your wallet. Because I'll have to do a review. I use an app called Wallet Guard, which enables you to add like insurance cards, your actual ID, your, whatever it is, California ID or whatever state you're in or country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty handy. And by law, if you get stopped by a police officer and they ask for your insurance, that digital version is actually valid.
Cool.
So I actually just use it for the fact that what if I leave someday without my wallet, but I have my phone,
You have a backup.
just in case. Yeah, just a little backup. But it would be great if Apple allowed all these things into the wallet app as well, but they don't. So
yeah, not yet.
we'll see.
Hopefully
Yeah, it's
soon.
probably privacy issues, stuff like that too, is probably their concern,
I mean, those things, if they have Face ID, I'm trying to call up my insurance card or my ID, if I can verify my ID and then it, brings up that information, I think it's cool. I don't know whether like hacking, not hacking my own account, but people hacking fake IDs, what the probability of that is. That's probably what they're trying to guard against. So you don't have like some person out there making fake IDs for teenagers that they hold up on their phone and it shows that they're 21, even though they're 16. So there's probably some of those kinds of issues, but I think eventually one day we'll be able to have a digital version of everything.
That would be cool.
Speaking about one day, Apple announces Time Flies event for September 15th. Given the Time Flies branding, Apple is likely to focus on the Apple Watch for this event, with the Series 6 rumored to add blood oxygen monitoring and improve sleep tracking, along with a faster processor. Apple is also rumored to announce a cheaper replacement for the Series 3 model, which Apple still sells. Normally, Apple announces new iPhones in September, but they confirmed that they wouldn't ship new phones this month during their most recent earnings call. Apple is rumored to have a full lineup of hardware for the fall, including 4 new iPhones, the Apple Watch Series 6, an updated iPad Air, a smaller HomePod, AirTags, and possibly even a pair of Apple-branded over-ear headphones. Apple has also promised that we would see the first fruits of its ARM-powered Apple Silicon Macs before the end of the year too, although the rumor mill has been quiet thus far for actual details. So this was interesting, but then we saw another thing today, that this Time Flies may also be hinting to the time of flight sensor that is part of the LiDAR scanner that's currently on the iPad Pro, but is rumored to also be on the iPhone 12.
Dang it. I just want it to be mainly an Apple Watch event. And it's all about me. No, I guess it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
No, this will be good. Now I'm starting to change my mind because I thought that this event might just be like Apple Watch, iPad, maybe a few other things, and then postponing the iPhone event. And now I'm kind of on the fence. Like maybe they are going to announce an iPhone.
Maybe it's both. And maybe they'll announce it, but the phones won't ship until October, which is what they said in the earnings call, that the phones wouldn't be shipping in September, but that, they could still announce it.
Yeah, there was actually even some previous rumors too that I think the lower price model might ship before the Pro model. So that's possible too.
And AirTags, I mean, maybe it's a stretch, but like something flying in its air and they're like portable. I don't know. I really want these little things to help me find things that I've lost. I really love Find My, and so I'd love to be able to add it to, my wallet. Stick one in there.
Yeah. And when you first texted me that the event was officially called Time Flies, I was like, man, finally a flying Apple Watch.
Yeah.
That's what we needed.
One step closer to that Iron Man suit, man. Stuff just flying onto you. You got your watch, you have your Apple glass flying on your face, dude.
You know how tired I am of picking a band and then like putting the band on and putting around my wrist. Like, I just can't do it anymore. I can't. So much work.
But see, then the different bands would compete. You wouldn't know which band you were going to get. Just come flying onto you.
Yeah, and it would probably get the band wrong. Like you would say, whatever certain gray color, and it would be the wrong gray if you had more than one gray band. No, it's really, not that gray.
It must be hard to be you, man. Multiple shades of gray bands. I basically use the one.
I have, I don't know, maybe 10 bands, but that's not crazy. That's not crazy at all if you have seen any of these Facebook groups or anything.
No, that's true.
No, yeah, this is nothing at all.
For the record, I have 3. One of them is the one that it came with, and then I bought 2 others. And since I decided on the Milanese black loop, I have not changed it, including when I go on walks and work out. So,
Ooh, yeah, that I think we mentioned that on a previous episode. You need to know the sport loop.
That's
It'll
true.
change everything because you'll want to wear that when you work out, and then you can kind of wash those bands too.
Well, if I end up getting a 6, I'll opt for the sport loop on this one. I am a little disappointed in some of the things that I've been talking about. I want more. I don't know. Blood oxygen monitoring sensor is cool. Sleep tracking is fine.
For the Apple Watch.
Yeah, a faster processor, great. The 4 and 5 seem pretty snappy to me. I don't know what another faster processor is going to be able to do. I'm still interested in like a slimmer form factor or better battery life. I don't know.
Better battery life. That would be my thing. I think I've mentioned it before too. Mm-hmm. It's like if you gave me 2 days battery life, I would just use my Apple Watch even more and then still charge it every day. But just having that headroom would be a great help.
I think that would be helpful, especially for sleep tracking too, because when I was doing sleep tracking, I was struggling to keep the battery up. So that would be something I would hope to see. And then a new Series 3 that's cheaper. We had heard rumors about a plastic frame coming. And so maybe this new Series 3 will be plastic and it'll be geared towards, the lower end of the market, but also maybe like children. So I could see them doing something fun where, it encourages activity and like running around and going outside and playing and moving around. And the hand washing. So that hand washing feature that they added that I've been using here in the beta is kind of cutesy and fun. And I imagine, learning how to properly wash your hands is definitely something that you want to encourage in children and not just adults, but especially in children. And, they did it in a really cool and kind of fun way. Like all the numbers look like bubbles. And at the very end, you get a thumb up bubble if you did the time. And it also gives you passive aggressive notes if you didn't wash your hands for the full 30 seconds and you shave off an extra second or two about how it's important that you wash for the full 30 seconds. All things that are good for children to also learn. So that's all I'm saying.
Do you think, or when do you think they'll release iOS 14? You think it's going to be soon after this event?
That seems to be their MO, where they're like, the new watches are coming, and in 1 week, or in a few weeks, the iOS 14 will be released, and then a couple weeks later, all the new watches will be out, and they'll have iOS 14 pre-installed, and that's what I'm thinking. Or watchOS.
Yeah, watchOS. I'm trying to think. I feel like last year it was pretty soon after they announced the iPhone that iOS 13 came out. I hope it's soon. I'm actually ready.
I wouldn't be surprised if they included as part of their thing on the 15th, if they're like, by Friday, it'll be released or something like that. So they've done that kind of thing before too, where they give the announcement and they give you a definitive date. And it's typically pretty close, like within a week. Sometimes before, remember, they had done them where they announced the phone and they said they're going to be available for order in a week. So
yeah,
I kind of see it somewhere along those lines.
So I'm still on the fence of what to even predict for this event, but I guess I'm hoping they have a phone too, because my fiance needs one. I think I mentioned on a previous episode that her phone died and it went into a washer, and now she's using a 5S, and it works. It works, but it's slow.
Yeah, it's twice as old as your current phone.
Yeah. Anyways, do you have any predictions or you want to say anything else about this event?
I really think it's going to be, I think they're going to do both. That time of flight sensor thing, I think is going to be a big push for part of this idea. I think they were trying to do a little, bait and switch kind of thing. Like, oh, time, it's totally about watches. And it will be, but also, phones. And they were saying that there's an Easter egg too, where if you click on the invite with a mobile device or with an iPhone or an iPad, and then it opens up AR and you can actually see that thing in AR. That sold it to me. Like they're going to be talking about the phones. They may not come, but they're like right away. They might say they're going to be available in 30 days or maybe later, kind of like when the Mac, that trash can Mac Pro came out. Remember, they're like, we're making a new Mac Pro. It'll be available in 4 months or whatever it was. I think it'll be similar to that. And I think the watches will be an update, but because there's not a lot of updates to the watch, I don't think it's going to be just the watch. I think they're going to throw the phone in there too to really make this be a thing. I don't think we're going to see AirTags. I would be very surprised if we saw the over-the-ear headphones. I could see an iPad Air update because, again, with that Air and flying, they get kind of cute with some of those associations. And maybe a smaller HomePod, but I don't know. Unless the price point is really low, I don't know why if people are really interested in that.
I just thought of this. What if it's a car, a flying car?
Well, then I would eat my shirt.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. Which shirt?
Yeah, I will let you pick from my closet. We'll FaceTime. You could pick one. If Apple releases a flying car called the Time Machine or something, then I will eat my shirt.
Yeah, we'll pick like a really thick flannel or something.
Tasty. Could you at least give me something leather? I could have a barbecue sauce. I don't really have a leather shirt. Maybe we could do a jacket. That would work.
Well, cool. Well, moving on, and we'll cover, obviously, in the next episode, we'll cover everything that was announced.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, extensive detail. And hopefully, if they ship anything really quick, like the watch, maybe I'll even have a watch in my hands and be able to review it. So
2 weeks?
We'll see what happens.
That's quick. That would be surprising, but amazing. They could announce and ship within 2 weeks. That would be great. We'll see.
I would be very happy with that. Thank you very much. Well, moving on. So Apple design team developed a special face mask for employees. Did you hear about this? Pretty crazy.
This is cool.
Yeah. So Apple has created an Apple face mask to aid employees in protecting against exposure to the coronavirus. In typical Apple style, the mask looks unique with large coverings on the top and the bottom for the wearer's nose and chin. It also has adjustable strings to fit around the person's ears. The Apple face mask is designed with 3 layers that filter incoming and outgoing particles and can be washed and reused as many as 5 times. The company, which confirmed the news, said it conducted careful research and testing to find the right materials to filter the air properly with not disrupting the supply of medical personnel protective equipment. Apple will start sending the Apple face mask to staff over the next 2 weeks. Apple is also using another third-party mask, the Clear Mask. So the Clear Mask is the first FDA-cleared surgical mask that is completely transparent. It shows the full face so people who are deaf or hard of hearing can better understand what the wearer is saying. Before designing its own mask, Apple provided employees with standard cloth masks. It also offers basic surgical masks to customers visiting its retail stores.
These are pretty cool. You know what I'm surprised they didn't do? I want like a mask that on the outside of it is a screen cleaner. So like if you actually hold it up to your face and you're talking on your phone with your mask on, you could just wipe it on the mask and then it cleans off the screen. Like, where's that kind of innovation, Apple? Come on now.
Yeah, and it sounds like by the conditions in many states here in the United States that they have to go back to the drawing board and redesign some of these masks so that they filter out the kind of particles from ash and fire and all that. So yeah, because it sounds like this mask is strictly kind of coronavirus related. So get to it, Apple.
The one they designed is kind of cool, and it's good that they're trying to. Yeah. They did it out of equipment or materials that aren't part of the normal supply chain, so it's not going to be eaten up. The same materials that doctors and hospitals need, and they do look kind of cool. The fact that they're washable and they can be reused over and over again. I could see them essentially giving their employees in the stores a mask a week, and then they're able to wash them, and that helps reduce waste and the overall cost on that. The Clear Mask is interesting to me too. Like the idea, it seems very Apple to want to have a mask where people can see their face, especially for the accessibility aspects of it. But here's my question. You wear glasses. When you put your mask on, don't your glasses fog up?
Sometimes.
If I have a complete piece of plastic over my face, isn't it just going to continually fog up as I'm talking? Like,
that is possible. I mean, I was really intrigued by that clear mask because I actually didn't think about it right away when we started having to wear masks, but
Hmm.
how it affects people that are deaf because they really rely on some lip reading,
Yeah, yeah.
So this clear mask is really neat. As far as the fogging, yeah, I don't know. You know, Something to think about too related to this is that with cold weather coming eventually, like, man, it's really going to fog up.
Yeah, yeah.
I know this from riding a motorcycle and using a full face helmet. Like, you actually have to put they sell this kind of chemical that you can put on the glass that will help it to stop fogging.
Maybe these have something like that on it already to help that. I didn't think about that, but that's true. But it was at first when I heard about this, I'm like, this is great because humans use so much facial emotion to understand, what we're saying and what we're communicating to each other. And so by covering up half your face, I'm sure there have been a lot of people who, misunderstand things that are being said, take something, personal as opposed to taking it as a joke because you can't see a person smiling or something like that. I'm sure there's been those things. And definitely for people who are hard of hearing and need to be able to see a mouth to fully understand and comprehend, it's super helpful. But yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, I have trouble just wearing glasses with a cloth mask. I can only imagine having a giant piece of plastic around my face and having it just fog up. Or even worse, like you're talking a lot and it's really hot and it starts to get water beading in it. And you have to like drip it out. There's a lot of issues I think that could arise from this, especially if you're wearing it for a long time at work. I don't know.
I actually don't know how our medical workers, get around this, who wear glasses and stuff.
Yeah, it's
You
crazy.
know, as far as wearing glasses with a mask, it seems to depend on the mask too, like the actual
Oh,
length of
really?
the mask. Yeah, from like chin to nose, kind of the length kind of determines that too. Because some are kind of go up higher.
Yeah, across the bridge. Like I have one that my mother-in-law made, and it has the little nose pincher thing, which helps a lot too. But even still, sometimes like I do have to. You're right. If I adjust it up higher, and like if the bottom of my glasses are just touching it, then a lot of times it doesn't always fog up. So it is helpful. So moving on, Apple One bundle confirmed by Apple Music for Android, of all places. Apple is rumored to introduce a service bundle that includes Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and more, all in a single subscription. With the latest release of Apple Music version 3.4.0 beta for Android, we find that Apple may have settled on the name Apple One, along with an internal code name of Aristotle. Strings in the Apple code all but confirm that Apple Music will be included with Apple One when it launches, with text discovered in the code saying, included in Apple One subscription bundle. Interestingly, Apple also has clear messaging in place that Apple One and your existing Apple Music subscription will not overlap, ensuring you won't pay double. Discovered text says your Apple Music subscription will be included with Apple One. You will not be charged for both subscriptions. Notably, it seems you will not be able to manage or renew your Apple One subscriptions from the Android version of the Apple Music app. Instead, it seems you will have to use an iOS, macOS, or tvOS device to do it. Unfortunately, no other details could be found in the app, such as pricing or when Apple plans to launch this new subscription bundle. The next possible opportunity for Apple One to launch would be at the Apple event on Tuesday, September 15th. So I could see this coming up, especially if there's already code for it in some of their beta builds. I would be surprised if this doesn't show next week.
Yeah, they're all about the subscription. So I think this would be coming on Tuesday, September 15th as well.
I think it's a great option, especially if you have people who already have Apple Music and Apple TV and they're interested in getting news, if you can have it all bundled together. I wonder if this also means that they're probably going to not do the whole promotion where you get Apple TV Plus for free if you buy a product after the year. But I do wonder if they'll run another 30-day trial, or they'll let you just have the bundle for 30 days,
That would be cool.
And then you can really see how much you use and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I wonder if they'll just start with like one bundle or eventually have different bundles. Because I would like the option of picking personally, because I'm still not super impressed with Apple News Plus. I just don't seem to use it that much. But
Yeah.
I will, I love Apple Music, very happy with it. Apple TV Plus is going to get better. It has some, good TV shows coming next year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I personally haven't been using Apple TV that much. I don't know. A lot of the shows didn't quite catch me.
But it's going to be better.
Yeah, I think they're going to get more programming soon, I'm sure. And I will say, Apple Music has improved significantly since it was first launched. But personally, at this point, I'm so ingrained in Spotify that it would be, I feel like, difficult to transition.
Mm.
You know, I have family plans and stuff like that too. So then everybody else would also have to move over to that as well. And I've got all these playlists and things are curated. And I don't know. I think that ship might have sailed for me. So we'll see.
You might have to, though. You might have to switch.
I mean, if you give it to me in a bundle with a bunch of other things, if I really want it, let's say TV gets really good and find myself using the news more, and I don't know, I get hooked on some games or something, and I get arcade, and I also have music in there as well. Well, then yeah, okay, I'll switch over, because why am I going to pay for an extra service if I don't need it? But I don't know if that's the one of the gems in the crown that they're trying to convince you to use to buy. So may not quite be the thing that gets me there.
And remember, they make apps that will transfer over your playlist. So
that's true too. That is true. My issues are not that great, not that hard to get over.
Yeah, and it is handy using Apple Music on the watch, especially if you yourself end up getting an LTE version.
Mm-hmm.
It's very handy.
I think too, I know I've had some difficulty with like playlists in my car pairing, because I removed the Apple Music app. And so sometimes my car doesn't like Spotify connection. Like I basically have to make sure Spotify is open, or it may think that my phone doesn't have any music on it. So I never had that issue with Apple Music, because I think it's marked within the software of the phone as like the music app. So your car technology looks for it. Though, if we get a new car, it has CarPlay. Spotify's already an app in there. Kind of solves that problem. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what they do. We'll see if they announce it on Tuesday, September 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't have anything in for your entertainment this episode. Why don't we move on to our picks or tips?
All right.
So I think I will go first. I have a few. I have one tip and two picks, and they're all kind of quick. So did you know that you can ask Sally to check your Apple Watch battery level?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And if people aren't aware, we're saying Sally instead of the SIRI, personal assistant. So anyways, you can check using Sally. And I love this. I just discovered it the other day. I have my watch charging in the morning. So I'm out in the kitchen while the watch is charging in another room. So this is very handy for me to just ask my phone what the battery level is without having to touch it, because sometimes you may have something in your hands or, something like that if you're cooking or whatever. So pretty handy. Just thought I would mention that. Let's move on to my picks. So my first pick is Watch Notes by FlickType. Now I've covered a few different notes apps on this podcast. And the problem with all the notes apps that I've covered is you can't really edit the actual note for some reason. Seems to be like a common issue, which I find odd. Like you can start a new note, but you can't edit the existing note. So this one, if you're not familiar with FlickType, they actually make a separate app that is just FlickType Keyboard, which is really cool in itself. You can use it for texting and whatnot. It's really robust and incredibly accurate. You can even do swipe typing on it. So they've implemented that same keyboard into this notes app. So if you just need an app that's basically does one thing, just taking notes, this is the app for you. And it's available on Apple Watch and iPhone. The only con to this for me is that it's not available on other devices, because I like to sync my notes on every device.
Yeah.
If you just need to take quick notes, and you want to use a keyboard to do it, you can actually use your voice as well. It gives you the option, but it's pretty handy. And again, you can edit with that one. It's also free, which is very nice. my next pick is an app called Air Visual Air Quality Forecast. And I thought this would be handy for people currently in states that are burning in the United States. And, this seems to happen all over the world at different times too.
Yeah.
So what drew me to this app is not just that it's an air quality forecast app, but in its name, it is visual, which is really handy. So it's, I think you downloaded it as well and you were taking a look and you do like kind of UI design. This one was very nice because it is quite different than any other air quality forecast app, being that has like symbols, like it'll show like a window and that window will be red with like a line through it stating that means do not open your windows. It'll have like a kind of a workout icon and that'll either be yellow or green. Green means go ahead and exercise. Yellow means maybe not. And red means do not. So
right now it legit is red with a line through it that says avoid outdoor exercise. So instead we're drinking in the house.
yeah. And when I checked it today, it actually had several symbols for both my work location and home location. By the way, you can set up like a work location, home location. You can add other cities as well, which is really handy. But today, that app was showing close your windows, do not go outside, do not exercise, and you should use a air purifier indoors. So, yeah, it's pretty bad out here. But this app is pretty awesome. It's available for the Apple Watch, iPhone, and iPad. And it is actually free, which is remarkable considering what this app does. Also, if you create an account, it'll give you a few more options and kind of pinpoint things a little bit more, kind of.
Yeah. It's very cool. You told me about it the other day, and so I've been playing with it a lot. The visualization that you had mentioned that before too, when we were talking about it, where you can see like the satellite view and you can watch the air patterns, is really cool and also currently terrifying to see. Basically, all of the West Coast just red and purple.
Yeah.
But you can also kind of see why it's grouped together, grouping the way it is, because it shows the air currents, and so you see how things are getting blown up or getting blown down. Like I had heard that Los Angeles is getting some of the smoke from Northern California, and you can actually kind of see the air pattern where that travels through. But yeah, overall, I agree too. I think it's really cool, really helpful, and just kind of you don't always think about it. Like why you may feel kind of crummy or have a tickle in your throat. But if you have this app, you can kind of check it, and a lot of times it'll probably coincide with poor air quality or something going on outside. So really interesting to get. And then there's other devices you can get too that will contribute more information to it.
Oh, right. I actually didn't check in there to see what those devices were, but I just want to say again, being that it's visual is a big plus, because the other apps that I tried a few others that were air quality forecast apps, and they would maybe have like a percentage. And as just a regular person, we kind of don't know what that means. But if you show me close your windows, don't go outside, don't exercise in a symbol form, it's very easy to understand. So, basically anyone could understand this, without having to go, well, what does 72% mean? Or what does this many particle, mean?
Yeah, it's also cool because you can pinpoint your exact location as opposed to just getting a broad city. Like I've seen some apps where it's like, Los Angeles area, Bay Area, as opposed to the actual city location that you're in. This one has both. So I have on here Burbank, and that's showing 153 US AQI, which is in a really bad zone. Like you want it to be under 50. But Los Angeles is only showing 125. So even though LA County is huge, like it's actually worse where we are because we're closer to the mountains. So the air gets collected and sits a little bit more than like in the downtown area. And being able to kind of see your pinpoint of location, I think, is really helpful.
I got to look right now too while you're checking, see what mine says. I'm sure it's very similar. Well, near my work, it's 103. Okay. Now it's showing me Studio City. I don't think it's getting my location exactly, but 153.
Oh yeah, so it's equal to what we have here in Burbank, and we're in the same kind of neighborhood. What's interesting too is they show, like, if you get a device, you can actually get an air purifier that is measuring within your house, so you can compare your house to your outside location. And I'm kind of interested in that, so I might be looking at what those are running. But really cool.
Yeah. So if you need some kind of air quality forecast app, this is a really good one, especially if you have an Apple Watch as well. So very cool.
So my pick is the Luat magnetic USB-C cable for the MacBook Pro and iPad Pro. Now, the old MacBooks used to have this really great MagSafe power adapter that would just pop off. If somebody tripped over the cord, it wouldn't launch your computer across the room or anything like that. It was this really nice, had a very satisfying click. But with the transition to USB-C ports and using USB-C as the charging cable, all of the new laptops don't have that. They're just a normal input. And it's actually a pretty secure fit. So if you had a computer, say, plugged in and it was sitting on the end of a couch because you were, typing on it or something, and somebody walks by and trips on the cable, that thing is going flying. But this cable, this magnetic USB-C type cable, actually has a little piece on it that plugs into the USB-C part of the computer, but that has a magnet on the back of it. And that magnet then connects to a magnetic cord. And so you can split them apart really easily, and it's not very difficult. Or you can have them connected and it'll actually be supplying power to your laptop. So it's pretty cool. I found it on Amazon. There are actually a few different brands. I've seen them, both of this Luat, Looyat version, selling for $19 and $9. I think it was the difference of the length of the cord might have been part of it. But yeah, so far been working really good. It's been making it easier and more convenient I actually have it plugged into my computer and then at my desk. So when my computer is at the dock or docked on my desk and I have my external monitor going, it's all charging up, but I can easily just kind of pop it out really quickly and take it in the living room or go somewhere else. So really cool.
Very cool. Nice. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. I would just like to say special thanks to all of our firefighters across the U.S.
Yes.
This has just been brutal, and I just commend you in the work you do and hope everyone stays safe. All you firefighters, also all the people that continue to be in the medical field and keep us safe. Wishing you all safety and well-being. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Read all the stories we've covered and more stories on Flipboard, a link provided in the show notes. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Apple Watchers Podcast and on Twitter at Watchers Tweet. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcast. You can even ask your smart speaker to play the Apple Watchers Podcast. You can also listen on YouTube, a link provided in the show notes. Please subscribe and rate us wherever you listen. And thank you again for listening. Until the next episode, I hope the only complications in your life are the ones on the face of your Apple Watch.